And welcome back to Dragon Ball Z What If? What if all the Z fighters, minus Piccolo, were Saiyans? Last time on this Dragon Ball Z What If, the entire Namek saga happened, and Frieza did not make it out alive as he always does, but he made a very fatal mistake in hurting one man's son. This caused, not only that, but Dende as well. This caused not just a Super Saiyan Goku, but a Super Saiyan Gohan and a Super Saiyan Krillin as well to emerge. And together, well, Gohan nearly got killed, but that's what caused the other two to show up. And so they took down Frieza. Gohan was barely saved, but he was saved. And then they went back to Earth to wait for their Dragon Balls to fully recharge. And then they eventually would go back to Namek and help Namek out in its time of need when it's being revitalized. The other reason they go to Namek is because if they revive everyone who died on planet Namek, that would include Vegeta. And they know that Vegeta is still not really a good guy. So he's going to be a little bit problematic because coming back from the dead, well, it's never confirmed that can give you a Zenkai. Yeah, it's never confirmed that would give you a Zenkai. If anything, here's the thing. If it does give you a Zenkai coming back from the dead, that would mean that I would have to completely redo the way I have structured Goku's increase in power between Raditz and the Saiyan Saga, because I would have to factor a Zenkai into that amount as well. And coming back from the dead, I would have to imagine is a huge Zenkai. I'm assuming there is no Zenkai, because it's when the Saiyan comes near death and they recovers, not when he dies and comes back. So that's my personal thought process about it, but I'm willing to be proven wrong on that. Regardless, while they are there, waiting for the Dragon Balls to recharge, on Earth, mind you, before they had the Namek, they get a very panicked call from King Kai. Like, Goku! Goku! It's like, hey, King Kai, sorry, I don't think we've officially met. By the by, yes, Yamcha, Chiaotzu, and Tien have all come back to Earth. And in fact, while they were back on Earth, they were training with Goku, Gohan, and Krillin to try to figure out how to tap into the Super Saiyan transformation on their own as well. And ultimately, they do learn it, I think. Now, granted, they're not going to have a very strong amount of control over it in this 1 year span, but they still learn to tap into it. All of them do. Now, that being said, King Kai basically gets in touch with... maybe he doesn't get in touch with Goku. Maybe he gets in touch with Yamcha, Tien, Chiaotzu. It's like, what, King Kai? Oh, King Kai? Like, yeah, Goku, this is King Kai. Wow, that was weird. King Kai. It's like, oh, hi. I wish we could have met before, but then again, I guess that means this is no time to be making fun jokes, Goku. Well, you have to get back to Namek now. It's like, wait, what's going on? The Dragon Balls haven't fully activated yet. Mind you, I've always wondered if Kami could just reactivate him if he really wanted to. I don't know if that's ever been... I think I brought that up once before, but I don't know if that's ever been confirmed. If you theoretically had the inactive Dragon Balls there, could Kami basically reactivate him earlier than they need to be? Because we know he can bring the Dragon Balls back. We know he can resurrect the dragon. So, I don't know. It's a good question. I could see it being possible. So maybe then what actually happens is, retconning myself in the moment, Kami and everyone look for the Dragon Balls. It's harder for them to do that because the Dragon Radar, I don't think, can pick up on the Dragon Balls when they're inactive. But being the fact he's the creator, I imagine Kami might be able to still sense them even when they're inactive. It's just harder for him to find them, so he's just giving them general locations. Either way, he finds them, reactivates them, or maybe he doesn't even need to have them there. Maybe he just needs to focus his energy and reactivate them. Maybe that would work. They get back to Namek, then they make the wish, bring back everyone, and Vegeta is being Vegeta about it. He's just being huffy. He's like, oh, dear God, what happened? You killed Frieza? How? He's like, don't worry about it. But you're going to have to get out of here. Whatever. These Dragon Balls are useless anyway. Not like I'd be able to get them. Not like I'd be able to get them to activate them for me anyway. And he just flies off in his ship. Because it's true. With them protecting these people, there's no way Vegeta could get the Dragon Balls here. And so Guru makes Mori the new elder, all's well that ends well. They leave, but then, as I was alluding to, Goku gets the father, King Cold, Frieza's father. He's on his way to Namek to find his son. What? He's like, oh no, we got to get there fast. And they get in the ship, which they obviously Bulma has now made the gravity ship, so they're actually able to train in there while they're on their way. And they get there. Luckily, they're able to get there just as King Cold's ship is showing up. It's like, Lord Cold. It's like, yes. It's like, oh, who do we have here? I don't know. They're heading down to the planet. Well, why don't we go meet them then? And he just steps out with his forces. So, you're the Saiyans I've heard, pray tell, were able to kill my son. How do you know we killed your son? I was like, word gets around. The fact that thy son went to Namek and never showed up is problematic to begin. Let me rephrase that. The fact that my son never came back from his little trip to Namek made me worry. And seeing you here, I can only assume that you're the ones who killed him. And given your tales, you're Saiyans. So then, how is it that there are still so many of you alive? Wouldn't you like to know? I would, but I suppose we're not here for formalities. I'm led to believe there might be Dragon Balls on this planet for me to be able to resurrect my poor little baby. Would you be so kind as to direct me to them? And they're just like, no. Oh, very well then. Men, would you be so kind as to help them find their tongues? Even if you have to rip them out and show it to them. Show it to them. And so they come in, they're quickly all taken down. Then again, I suppose I can't be too surprised. Good help is so hard to find, you know. So then, Saiyans, I'll give you one last chance. Help me resurrect my son. You can even come work for me. Talent like yours is so hard to find these days. No, very well. I was planning to kill at least half of you anyway. And, he just fires a giant energy. Saying, and they were able to get out of the way. It's like, you're nothing more. You're no better than your son. It's twisted and evil inside. Well, no, to quote the quote, well, no more. You've dug your own grave. It's like, it was a good dodge, monkey, but unfortunately, you're going to have to do better than that. It's like, and then Goku say, I intend to. And everyone just, boom. It's like, So this is a Super Saiyan. No matter. And very quickly, King Cold gets his teeth kicked in hard. Eventually, he is completely killed, annihilated. Frieza's forces flee, all that. And the Namekians have their eternal gratitude. So they fly back to Earth. Now, eventually, Trunks does show up. But the question now is he a son of Vegeta or is he a son of Yamcha? Because either way, it doesn't change anything about him, really. Heritage-wise, strength-wise, it wouldn't... maybe Vegeta's genes are stronger, but there's no guarantee on that. So it doesn't... Yeah, it won't change anything. It's just really for, lore and interaction purposes that we ask the question. I think Vegeta does kind of hang around on Earth for a bit, though. Until it's eventually finding out that they're all Super Saiyans, and he's just thoroughly pissed about that. And then Trunks wait, where is everyone? Now, do I want to go the Vegeta route, or do I want to go the Yamcha route? Personally, I like the idea in this case of going with the Yamcha. Well, we're going more with the Vegeta route, if I'm going to be. I was about to say Yamcha, but I'm like, no. Because their personalities, except for having a little bit more lust for fighting, haven't changed really. And so Yamcha is still Yamcha, which means him and Bulma are not going to make it as a couple. They just aren't going to gel personally, as a couple, personality-wise. And so, she would eventually dump Yamcha, Vegeta and her would hook up, and Vegeta then flies off. But, more to the point, Trunks shows up, wondering where Frieza is. It's like, hey, everyone. It's like, oh, well, who are you? It's like, oh, wait, you're another Saiyan? But where's your tail? I was born without one, actually. As far as we know. I don't know. Why don't I just Google that one? That's a question that I don't usually bring up, but it's because I don't usually ask it. Was Trunks born with a tail? I mean, he still has a half stage. No, Goten and Trunks were not born with tails. And Akitori was asked, it seems that tails are a recessive genetic trait? I'm sorry, what? That would imply there are Saiyans that are, I mean, don't get me wrong, we know that the Universe 6 Saiyans were born without tails. That's because they evolved without it. Every Saiyan we ever saw in the series up until Goten and Trunks was born with a tail. I really don't think that. Look, God rest in peace, Akira Toriyama. We miss you every day. But I'm not gonna just say everything he said made sense or was perfect. That makes no logical sense. Being a dominant trait would make sense, even if it is a recessive trait. Because the Saiyans all have tails, there shouldn't be a recessive and dominant trait. There shouldn't be a no tail and tailed trait. Because that's not how biology works. Case in point, look at any species of monkey today versus any species of ape. Apes are not born, even humans who are born with tails, it's a recessive trait from when we were monkeys, yes. Apes to monkeys, but you never see apes these days, apes born without tails. If it were a recessive trait, you would see only a handful of Saiyans with tails, even among their race, because they'd have dominant genes over the recessive. So I'm sorry for getting so heated about this, but I'm like, that explanation does not work. It doesn't work. Because it's the standard Punnett square thing. Let's just say I got a grid here 4, and and above here you got the dominant, the recessive, and the recessive. The dominant, boop, let's say it's blue, just the blue eyes, brown eyes thing. Brown eyes are dominant over blue eyes. So, boop, that's the big B, that's brown eyes. There you go. The big B and the little B's are still brown eyes. They just carry the recessive trait. So if you were to, say, have a kid with someone with blue eyes or brown eyes and the rest of the recessive trait, there is a chance you could have the blue eyes show up. And then the BB does make the blue eyes. That can't work with the tails because all of the Saiyans on Planet Vegeta had tails. It would be the exact same thing. When you're saying it's a recessive trait, it would be the exact same thing. Only 1 in 4 Saiyans would have tails. Granted, we never saw the entirety of the race, yes, but everyone we ever saw had tails, so that logic makes no sense. Well, you can make it, well, they only chose the ones with the tails. Even Gine, who wasn't a warrior, or that Beat, who was killed by Paragus in the movie, had a tail. So it's not a good argument. I'm sorry, I went off on a rant there, but that logic I'm like, oh, let me just check this. Rant mode. So anyway, he explains that I'm from the future because, well, I'm from the future, and you need to know something about the androids that are coming. And he explains the androids and all that, and he's like, how do you know this? And he talks to Goku, and now, granted, he is probably from a world where it's still all of this. It's Vegeta. He's still Vegeta's kid. And he explains that he's Vegeta's son. Piccolo picks up on that. He promises not to reveal anything, but they need to get training. Now, I'm going to go through the training real quick, and then I'm going to tell you something that occurred to me that I'm like, this doesn't make any sense either. Now I'm thinking about it. In terms of training, unlike before, they're all Saiyans. They're all going to train together. They're working on their Super Saiyan transformations, getting it down to pat. I think they do reach it in over 3 years. I think they definitely reach a perfected Super Saiyan form. And I would even say Gohan and Goku probably are able to push it to Super Saiyan 2 after 3 years of training. Now, why do I say that? Well, Goku, Piccolo, and Gohan trained together, but we don't know how hard the training was. We know Piccolo and Gohan increased by large margins. Don't know how strong Goku got. We have to assume, too, that he did, in fact, transform into Super Saiyan several points during that training period to at least push Piccolo or test his boundaries or push his Super Saiyan form harder. So when you add Saiyans who can all do a Super Saiyan and actually push Goku pretty hard, and Gohan, who have already achieved Super Saiyan along with Krillin, I think it's a safe bet that they can reach the form without too much difficulty. Not too much difficulty, but I do think it's safe to say that they can reach the form with enough time and training. One other thing, though, that they try is different things to do with Super Saiyan, because a lot of them are creative martial artists. Particularly the question of what happens if we turn into a great ape with Super Saiyan. Now, they stop and think about how to do this, because they can't all do it. Otherwise, they'd risk destroying the entire planet. They'd all go rabid and just destroy everything. Then Chaozu's like, well, then I'll do it. It's like, what? It's like, well, Chaozu, we can't. No, think about it, Tian. I'm definitely the weakest among any of you. Come on. And it's like, we know it's true. But that means if you have to, you should be able to rein me in. Even if I do, am I able to lose control? Or do lose control? It's like, he's got a good point. It works for me. All right, you sure you're ready for this, Chaozu? He just transforms, his one hair sticking up. It's like, let's do this. It's like, and they just do the moany looks. And I could totally see him still having like the little round Pikachu cheeks and as a monkey. It's like he even keeps those as a oh god. Then the guy's like, Chaozu, it's us, come on. Unfortunately, Chaozu, even with the psychic powers he has, meaning he probably has a strong mental state, is still incapable of being reasoned with. So eventually they do have to kind of pin him down, put him down, knock him out. Goku and Gohan together take him out. And they spend a while working on that, which eventually leads to Chaozu coming to and accessing the Super Saiyan 4 transformation. Now, I did ask the question, how do I see that working? Does he grow hairs? Does he have like one wild hair? Is his one hair wrapped around his neck like a Greninja scarf? How does that work? And he looks like this tiny little monkey doll, which I think would be adorable. But beyond that, we do know the hair gets a lot shaggier, and I think you do grow more of it. So what I could see happening is he has this very thin, wavy mohawk that goes down to like here on it. It's like, whoa, this is amazing. Chaozu's like, I'm Chaozu. So, because you get a little bit gruffer with the voice, I'm Chaozu. Chaozu. I'm Chaozu. I'm ready. No. Cursed. I can do Sponge. I'm ready. Ah! Like, I can do that. I can do this. I'm now scaring everyone who's basically just saying never do that again. I'm SpongeBob are best friends. I creep the fuck out with people with that voice. I really did. It's fun though. Regardless, yeah, Chaozu would hit Super Saiyan 4, and because they're all trained together, they I think remind Goku to take his heart medicine. So this leads to the androids showing up, and this is a very drastic change. They're in the city. They're looking around. Obviously, Yamcha's the first one to encounter them. He can't sense their energy. They attack Yamcha. But just as he is about to put his hole through his hand, Yamcha goes Super Saiyan. And just cracks Zoro straight into a building. What is this power? I was not familiar with this. And it's like, Yamcha, I'm okay. But don't let them touch you. I think they absorb energy through their hands. It's like, yeah, it's like, oh, I see. That's Son Goku. Yes. You're the one we want. And so they basically just say, let's take this somewhere else. They go. They clash. I'm going to speed through this a little bit. They take down 19 and Jiro actually pretty quick. In fact, they're all dead. Jiro and 19. Now, why do I want to speed through that? Because there's something I realized today as I was mapping out all the notes for the video in my head that occurs to me. There is actually no reason on God's green earth that Jiro shouldn't know about the Super Saiyan transformation. What do I mean by that? It's stated that they were unable, that Jiro had a little robot tracking him, stealing DNA for Cell, and recording all the spikes in his growth, and they planned the androids accordingly for that. But, as Piccolo said, did you know that Goku would become a Super Saiyan, and he transformed and overwhelmed 19. They weren't prepared for Super Saiyan transformations. The problem is that doesn't actually make a lot of sense. Like I said before, we have to assume Goku had transformed during his training the 3 years for the androids. At least once, but probably multiple times to train in the form. Now, maybe the argument you can make is the little robot wasn't tracking him in his day-to-day life. It was only tracking him during the big fights. But there's still the other problem. The Trunks Frieza fight. We know for a fact that there was a little robot there recording and gathering information and DNA, because that's how they got Frieza's DNA. Which means they saw the Super Saiyan transformation. And if you don't think, now the only explanation you might be able to give for that is that once it got the DNA, it noped out. That's not impossible, but watching that, it had to have been watching the fight with Frieza and Trunks. I mean, it saw Super Saiyan. So it probably would have stayed and recorded, and then it should have saw Goku and Trunks turn into Super Saiyans. So there really isn't a very good there's rationales. Let's be very clear. There's rationales, and then there's explanations. There's rationales for why Jiro didn't know about Super Saiyan, but there's no solid explanation for why he didn't know about Super Saiyan. I only just realized that today. Regardless, they would actually kill those guys, and all would be quiet for a little bit until Cell starts causing trouble. And Cell starts causing trouble. A big thing here is that when you look at this entire group, who he has DNA from, except for Frieza and Piccolo, he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He is, out of 9, possibly 10 individuals, he's at least 70% Saiyan. Now, does that change the way Cell looks? No, I don't think that's the way it changes the way Cell looks, because Cell doesn't look that way because of the massive genetics. That's just the way that his body formed. So, yeah. Now, him trying to find his home, his brethren, all that, is a bit more difficult because they were never released. But he doesn't know that. He assumes they're traveling about somewhere. So, when Piccolo and Kami eventually do fuse, granted, the question also would be risen that, or would arise, on whether or not they would have to fuse here. I don't think they would have to fuse right now. I don't think so, because Chaozu at Super Saiyan 4, I don't think is the strongest individual on the planet. As strong as he is, I still don't think he's actually as strong as Goku or Gohan, or even Krillin probably is tapping on Super Saiyan 2 at this point, but he's not as strong as either of the two of them. But he makes up for it with immense psychic power. So I think they go out looking for the individual doing it. Goku eventually does find it and squares off with this imperfect Cell. As a Goku, I've been looking forward to this, Father. It's Father? Yes, I am the creation of the great Dr. Gero. You may call me Cell. And he explains his origins. Like, that's right. Thanks to all you monkeys, I'm at least 70% I'm 70% Saiyan. Your power runs through my veins. And well then, that means this probably runs through your veins too. And he just powers up. It's like, I'm afraid I'm not quite familiar with that one. And they just, is like Super Saiyan is able to go toe to toe with Cell, but I surprisingly actually think Cell, because he's so much Saiyan here, he's probably a little stronger than his canon counterpart. Mind you, everyone else is too, but still. Goku and Gohan go to Super Saiyan 2, however, and that is overwhelming Cell pretty easily. It's like, no, I will not. Sorry, friends, but I will not be denied that what you're saying is true. You killed the androids. I will find another way. I will. What? And Chaozu is there, and he's transformed at this point. Not Super Saiyan 4, but he's in Super Saiyan, because Super Saiyan 4 is taxing on his little body. And just holding him there. It's like, Chaozu, you! Which, by the way, if he's got the DNA of the Z Fighters, why did Cell never try any of the Psychic-type moves of Chaozu? I don't remember him doing it. Do you think I guess that's a good question. A, do you think he has Chaozu's DNA? B, if he does, do you think he has psychic abilities? Do you think that translated over? And then C, do you think there's a reason he ever tried using it? I'm just spitballing here because of all the Z fighters we know about, I'm not certain he actually had Chaozu's DNA. I don't think he ever showed a technique that was Chaozu's. He showed Tien's, he showed Yamcha's, he showed, I don't know about Yamcha, but he showed Frieza's, he showed Vegeta's, Piccolo's, Krillin's, Goku. He showed all of them, but I don't know about Chaozu. Either way, they do waste him into the dust pretty much. And that's kind of the end of Cell. Like, it's a quick win. No one even knows the world was threatened. So Hercule isn't really the savior of the world here. He's also not popular. He's still absolutely popular, but still. And last but not least, let's cover the 7-year time skip. Within the 7-year time skip, I think they would all continue to train with each other. They all take turns learning Super Saiyan 4. Vegeta also does eventually come back pissed off, obviously. It's like, damn it! And he's pissed off because he can't access Super Saiyan 4. What he does do, though, I think, is train to Super Saiyan, Perfect Super Saiyan 2, and Rage boosting all the way to Super Saiyan 3. I think he does eventually hit that point through sheer determination. Everyone else, I think, does run the gamut. I think they go to Super Saiyan 2, 3, and 4. So it's a giant planet of Super Saiyan 4s. So when Boo comes around, things are going to get interesting. And until then, though, we're going to just leave it there. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed part 6. I'll see you guys for the next one.